Welcome to the Modern Watchman podcast, where faith meets the front lines of culture.
We break down what's happening in the world, what's behind it, and how believers can stand strong in truth.
We're not here to fear the times, we're here to understand them.
Because being watchmen means staying awake, staying ready, and staying grounded in the Word.
Let's get into it. Welcome to the Modern
Watchman
podcast with Tom and Wendy. Hello. Oh my gosh. I feel like we have to dive briefly, hopefully, into the Candace TPUSA thing. And you say you hate to talk about that. Can you elaborate?
Same thing as before. I am just ready for actual, it's just always the next cliffhanger.
I saw a really funny meme.
That's not a good look, to just constantly be hooking with cliffhangers.
Sure.
And ambiguous new drama. I'm not a fan of that. Now, I'm rooting for Candace. I respect her.
I am no longer rooting for Candace.
Well, I'm like, oh, that's fair. I'm rooting for someone to get to the truth on this.
Yeah.
And I do not believe we've been told the truth.
That's for
not
sure.
even close. And
she's like not even after that so much anymore. Like
nobody even knows. It's just
it's
I
wild.
believe we are now in full blown whatever is exciting, the next dramatic breaking news of what Candace is saying, and we're not getting anywhere.
Well, I saw a
tangible.
funny meme or a little video on Instagram that was like, tomorrow Candace will realize she's the one that killed Charlie. It was like,
yeah.
The reason why I'm bringing it up is because there's been a recent development with the TPUSA finally addressing some of the claims or accusations rather that she has made, which, you know, it was definitely high time for them to directly address it, because I do think that as they have, you know, kind of stayed out of it, which is, I know, your move,
right?
It is, people are moving more into Candace's camp and feeling more like that's an admission of guilt or, you know, whatever. And so Blake came out and made this, 10-minute long statement kind of addressing point by point what Candace had accused them of, any number of things, all kinds of different things. And of course, they said that they're going to do a live to address all of the things, answer any questions, whatever. That's supposed to be on the 15th. They invited Candace to come. She initially, yesterday, was like, absolutely, anytime, name the place, name the time, I'll be there, let's do it tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. Well, today she is not going to do it. And it sounds like she might Zoom in, but she says it conflicts with her schedule. She is supposed to be recording a show at that time. So I don't know if she's going to do it or not do it, but
I can't think of anything more important than attending to
Right.
the issues that
she's
you've been
building her entire
dragging us all along with.
Right.
So,
well, again,
there's no
I'm
show
sure
more important than that one.
They said they're going to go on without her, one way or another. They're going to go live and they're going to address it and they're going to take questions or whatever they're going to do. The most recent accusations have been of money laundering, which isn't even having anything to do with Charlie's death. But there's been a couple of whistleblowers that have come out. You sent me something regarding that as well. There's like their tax documents have been blasted. There's this money slush fund. But of course, everybody is like, Charlie didn't know anything about this, which I find those two things kind of hard to hold as like, okay, there's millions of dollars going through the organization that Charlie is not aware of and they're not accounted for. And this is happening year after year after year. And he like never is caught on to this. Again, so much of what is being proposed, we have to assume Charlie is much less wise and.
No, I think that's actually very plausible and not unreasonable.
So when he calls for an audit of the company every year, like an independent audit company isn't.
You are putting a lot of trust into people in certain positions. You know,
Okay. So when you hire an audit company, they won't find that stuff? Like if you as the CEO is like, I know I
hiring a
don't.
third-party
That's what they said.
auditor?
That's what they
Okay.
claim is happening. But again, so if you, and okay, at first it was Charlie ordered an audit of the company, which obviously means he knew somebody on the inside was doing something sketchy. Okay, that was Candace's first claim.
Yeah, sure, okay.
And then Blake came out and said, Charlie orders an audit every single year. That is
Right.
protocol for him.
I would say he was wise, and he knew that any sort of financial slip up could be used against, because
Absolutely. you could.
TPUSA is like in the business of making enemies by telling the truth,
Right,
unfortunately. So that makes sense that he was wise enough to know, all right, we've got to like be on top of this stuff, or it could, something stupid could
Bite us in the
cause
butt.
our movement to stumble. At the same time, on the more insidious side, I would say, this is a total theory, but knowing that knowing the people that he was tied in with, and the
What do
way
you mean
that
knowing what people? What are you talking about?
I'll leave it at right now. Donors that had interests other than just
Okay, so
TPUSA.
you're speaking of his donors. Okay.
Yes.
Not anyone on the working in his organization.
No.
Okay.
But I think that one thing we're not necessarily fully connecting, and again, this is hypothesis. I don't know this for a fact. This is just me kind of speculating. Is the donors are not just like third-party exterior entities. When you're talking about the Adelsons and these people who are like billionaires, like this is not like, these are people that Charlie had to court, not just some old man from Florida wrote a check because he likes what this young guy's doing. This is big money.
Yeah.
These people put people on the inside of the organization. They say they have wheels are greased. You know what I mean? Like, and I also don't trust these people. I think they're bad, and I do not think that they had TPUSA's best interests in mind. They wanted influence peddled.
You're saying the donors?
The donors,
Okay.
yeah. They
Of course.
Their motivations were not as pure as the movement.
No, of course.
Is that fair?
That's true everywhere.
I'm just saying. I'm just.
That's true for the small dollar donations oftentimes. Like, I'm going to give you
all I'm saying,
$5,000.
I'm not trying to incriminate them or I'm just saying, is that not correct? You know, fair to say that? That's why how I'm coming to the conclusion I'm coming to is that's
I feel like that'll be pretty easy to bear out.
Hear me out. I trust those people so little, and the same way that I have a lot of presumptions because of the history of understanding the intelligence agency. I don't have damning evidence of it, but I've seen how they operate in historically. And so therefore I can say, well, they might have done this. Well, in this case, these donors might also, they put people inside of organizations.
Okay.
They might even have recommended, because they're the donors, you're watching out for their money. They might have recommended which auditing company is used. And I would say that, unfortunately, because this is such a dirty world, those very same people may have created kind of a backdoor blackmail for Charlie, in the sense, now Charlie wouldn't even have known this. You would only bring this up when you needed to yank his chains. And it could be that you intentionally put some sketchy financial stuff happening. And down the road, if you ever need to say, and it's your auditor that you put in place, you have a couple people on the inside.
This is quite the conspiracy.
It's not. This is normal. This is the dark underbelly of this world. I'm telling you, it is not. That is conspiracy light.
Okay,
that's
would
like,
this slush fund show up on a 990?
Well, I'm not so familiar with the slush fund. I think there's other elements some little there's more than the slush fund that people are talking about. I don't know if any of it's like
Right. No, I
legit.
know.
But I'm just saying, how does that end up happening under Charlie's watch? I think there's some people who got put into that organization by donors, and the third-party auditors could be donors, and that the rug could be pulled on Charlie if they ever needed to.
So there could have been money laundering going through his company, and he would have not known at all.
Yes, but I just painted a picture where that is possible, where he could,
So
because
is it
he's putting
also
his
true-
trust in people. He's not line iteming accounting for it himself.
Is it also true that the majority of the TPUSA board and people wouldn't know? Like you're proposing something where there would be like a small handful of people that would know.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So obviously Candace Owens' accusation is against Blake, Andrew, like the main guys, the main
Okay.
people.
Sure.
What I think is interesting is how, again, she could be absolutely true. We have not seen any evidence that would be admissible in court at this point. Like nothing that is like anyone can create a text message screenshot.
Right.
Anyone can create a copy of the 990 or whatever. Like we've seen screenshots of things, and we've had whistleblowers come forth and say, even in the video you sent me, the girl said, as soon as I saw Candace say that something is going on at TPUSA, I knew it could happen. Okay, you didn't even need to know what she was claiming would happen at TPUSA, and you knew it was true. Whatever she was going to claim was true, is basically what she said in that video, this particular whistleblower video. So I'm like, okay.
And honestly, she didn't really say anything. She was super ambiguous.
Didn't. Yeah, she just said people are evil that work there.
Yes.
Some of the people are evil that work there. Of course, she no longer works there. So again, the disgruntled ex-employee, we have no idea why she got fired or what, or if she quit or whatever. It is somebody said something. This whole thing is somebody said something is the evidence. Somebody said Charlie thought someone was going to kill him tomorrow. That's the other thing Candace has been on right now. That Charlie sent a text that said, I just was watching it. Apparently he sent it to his security team, and he sent it all over. Of course, we don't see this text. Candace just knows he sent it. And it said, they're going to kill me tomorrow. We don't know who they are.
I don't believe that.
Okay, I don't.
No, I know.
Okay,
I know. I'm not saying
saying
you do. I'm just saying.
This is absolutely persuading the great majority of people paying attention right now. That's what's wild to me. And again, it's not because I'm sure she's wrong. I'm just like, there is no way to know that she is right. There is no way to know that she is right. And it is persuading people like crazy. One more thing. I also don't really understand, for those who love Charlie, because a lot of these are people who love Charlie that are being persuaded by all this, including Candace.
Well, you're susceptible to it because you're
emotionally
we all have
attached,
a desire for justice for Charlie. Yeah.
But shouldn't we also have a desire for like his legacy to be exonerated in all this? Like, why are we hoping TPUSA is going down? Do you know what I mean? This is also a weird thing to me.
I think it just needs to be based on the truth. Well, hear me out. I think that
like I am having a debate with a girl that is like hoping TPUSA goes under. I'm like, look, if they need to go under,
well, this is where I would say like
that'll be
Candace.
Great.
Like if I had one thing to say to Candace right now, Candace, besides get to the point, the second thing would be prove you're not controlled opposition right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, to me, it's just Satan is all over this. Like,
well, hold on. Yes, absolutely. But like, we don't know. I don't think we need to run cover for TPUSA any more than we like. It is very possible that Charlie's not aware of all of the people's motives that he was working with.
I think we can safely say, let's just settle down for a minute until anything is actually proved.
Well, that's what I've been basically saying. That's why I don't want to talk about it. Is like,
again, nobody is saying that. Everybody is being persuaded. And here's what I'm saying. If I wanted to explode the most effective movement on the right, I would shoot Charlie and I would send a Candace in to turn the base against its best movement. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I was the enemy, that's what I would do. And they have had their most loyal Charlie followers, like, absolutely be ready to be like, burn them at the stake. They're all guilty. They killed him. And I'm like, based on what?
But you know what? I'm 50-50 on this as far as if you're asking me, like, do I want to save TPUSA or not?
I pray they're exonerated. I pray that it comes forth. The truth is, they had nothing to do with it. They had no knowledge of it, and they can continue on. Like, that should be what we all hope.
Sure, that's all fine. That's fine. I hope that nobody did anything bad, but
right.
I already kind of know that just from even what Charlie was dealing with his donors in the last months and whatnot, I think that tells a much larger story
of donors and corrupt individuals.
No, I'm extrapolating quite a bit, but again, I'm not saying I know beyond a shadow of doubt, but I'm going a different direction.
No, you're just theorizing. You don't know anything.
Well,
that's
what everybody's doing.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's my whole point.
No, but I'm not theorizing the entire thing, but this is the foundation of, like, if you're conspiracy theorism, if you will, is you look at other patterns and how humans behave,
sure,
and how they have definitively behaved, historically speaking, and you look at some of these other things and you go, okay, you know what? A pattern was emerging. You know, Charlie was starting to have some real serious rifts with people. Then he ends up dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that from there, you are theorizing beyond the implications beyond that. But I'm going 100%. These donors got their grandkids into TPSA internships or, whatever. That's like light, that's simple little stuff. Okay. But absolutely, they would have the ability to say, hey, we have some really great people we can connect you with. You know what I mean? That's what donors do.
Yes.
That's what Charlie was all about with that stuff.
Sure.
And in the years where Charlie was not suspicious of their intentions or their things, he may have let a lot of that organization might not be as representative of Charlie Kirk as we think. It's possible. That is possible. I am not naming any names. I don't know. I'm not. But I think that's very plausible. And if that organization is not going to be the truth teller that Charlie was going forward, then I have no use for it. I don't care if Turning Point USA survives if it is not honoring Charlie's legacy. Is that fair to say? No, I don't need the brand. Sure. I don't need the logo to survive just for the sake of it. If it's not true to the core.
Okay. If there are some people that are corrupt in the company, we need to get them out.
Sure.
But there is an element of that is what is paying for his children.
Sure.
So, why do we want this to fail?
Let's be careful, because a movement, whether we like it or not, a movement is bigger than one person. Now, I'm a big believer in the individual, yes, but when you put a movement of other people on your back and start to carry it, it becomes more important than you. Charlie's family will be fine. They will. They have, right now, they have more money than
put it to you this way.
99.9% of anyone who...
Let me put it to you this way. If Charlie were alive and he found out that there were people inside his organization, would he eliminate those people, or would he be like,
100%
this brand...
he would eliminate those people.
This brand is not worth saving.
Right.
explode it.
I'm
move on.
talking about the future. So yeah, take the people out, great, fire.
I'm saying if he were alive, if he didn't die, and all of this came out, that there were exactly the scenario you're saying, that the donor has put in people in play, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Charlie would eliminate those people, purge the organization, and move forward with the brand.
100%.
Okay, then that should be what we hope
That is what I hope happens.
Okay. This is not, I mean, we finally got there 20 minutes into this conversation that's, okay, yes, I hope for that. We need to have more people talking about this so that other people are hoping for that, because nobody is hoping for that. And
But
5 minutes ago, you weren't even hoping for that.
No, that's not true. The question is, are these people going to be rooted out? Or,
Right.
or has the organization
Or
been
do
co-opted?
they exist?
Or
is also a question.
right?
Do they exist? Is also a question. Because again, just go back a little bit, there's been a lot of different allegations
I don't trust the
against
donors.
TPUSA. Of course.
Therefore, I don't trust the people that they put into the organization. Therefore, I think
Hypothetical people.
Yeah.
Candace Owens. Hypothetical people that you think and feel could exist and be there.
well, whatever. I'll stand by what I said. I'm totally fine with standing by that, and time will bear it out or not.
This
We'll
is
see.
the problem. This is somebody said something, somebody thought something, it was persuasive enough, and then
I don't
90%,
trust the donors because Charlie didn't trust the donors. So that's where
course.
that's based off of, just to be
Yes.
clear.
And then the end that's all we know. That's all we know. We don't know anything beyond that. Anything beyond that is an assumption.
Well, you're contradicting yourself in other areas because, what do you believe about building 7 World Trade Center? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, no, there's definitely assumptions because,
Yeah, there's definitely assumptions.
and some can be stronger than others.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to be convinced of a stronger assumption.
I am willing
Tom
to be
putting
convinced
forth
otherwise too.
A theory right now for the first time is not enough evidence for me to go, this is just like building 7. And this is strong enough evidence for me to assume any further than this.
Well, I will say this. I mean, I want to see Turning Point USA get out from under the cloud
Absolutely.
that is this issue. I'm not
that's
talking.
exactly all I want to say. I am hoping that TPUSA is able to get out from underneath this cloud. And I am shocked that not everybody who loved Charlie is hoping for that. It's the opposite. People are hoping they fail, hoping the whole thing goes down in smoke, hoping Andrew and Blake and Mikey and everybody is accused of murder. Like, people are hoping for this. And it's wild to me. That's what I'm getting at.
I don't think that's the majority
Oh
of
my
people.
gosh. Literally. The
but this is-
conversations I'm having.
This is a classic example of
People are so excited every
Immature,
time Candace says something.
like-
I knew it. They're cooked. They're cooked.
every time more people wake up, we've talked about this before, there's a process that they go through, and it takes years. And some people never mature in their discernment and conspiracy theory,
Yes.
minds.
Okay.
And they are just crazy, and you just have to chalk that up to they're just a little crazy.
The great majority of people are persuaded by all this.
Well,
and
be
absolutely
careful, because that's your perception. That's what you're seeing. That's what algorithms are showing you. That's
no. I literally
how many conversations are you having?
no,
with them?
it's not anecdotal. I'm I looked in 2 different AI programs. What is the opinion out there? Are more people favoring Candace, or are more people in defending TPUSA? Like, I just
believe
out
what
of
you're saying.
curiosity
Yeah.
I put that into ChatGPT, and somebody else sent me their grok. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's
And it's both of
Elon's.
them were Candace absolutely has the upper hand on this. Like, she is persuading. And so I'm like, okay, that's fine. She's the one that's talking. To your point, she's the one that's dominating the algorithm, blah, blah, blah.
right. That's what I was
But
going to say.
I'm not saying this is my anecdotal experience. What I'm saying is my anecdotal experience is that the conversations I'm having, or the things that I'm seeing, people are literally hoping, they're rooting against TPUSA. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. If there is legit evidence, we're going to go, yeah, of course, like TPUSA, goodness gracious. you got to go or you have some explaining to do or whatever. But I'm like, so far we're just making allegations that I think are wild, up to and including Erica Kirk has killed her husband. And I'm like, okay, gosh, some more proof would be great, but people don't seem to care about that. They're persuaded by the he said, she said.
I think people
stuff.
should start putting it out there of like, Candace, prove us wrong that you're not controlled opposition.
And what do you mean by controlled opposition?
Controlled opposition is where, like, basically she's working for somebody,
The same people who killed him?
quite possibly,
Sure.
or whatever, to
She's the most effective, more so
controlled opposition. So basically to come out and like, a lot of people thinks Alex Jones is controlled opposition. And so they say, you know, he's out there like talking about reptilians to distract you from the actual stuff. And so Candace is in here tearing down TPUSA when actually it was whatever, you know, or it could be anything. I could come up with a theory, but I don't actually necessarily believe that. But like,
she has been more effective in killing Charlie's movement than the person that shot him. Let's be honest.
So let's talk. As much as I am so over this subject, I can't emphasize that enough. This movement is not going to live or die with Candace or anything. That is the
What movement?
the can of worms is open, and America First is the enemy has overplayed their hand, as you like to say, and exposed themselves, and people are not going back to that.
Back to what?
Being okay with this America Second
What does this
position.
have to do with Charlie and Candace?
Well, no, I'm saying that like the movement isn't going to die. The movement got life breathed into it and exponentially. Unfortunately, when Charlie died, that was the effect. And there is no matter what Candace says, no matter what happens to TPUSA, honestly, I'm also like, TPUSA has not shown me, and that's why I hope they get out from under this cloud. And when I say under this cloud, I mean the cloud of Charlie dying, not just like the cloud of suspicion over this or that or money. I mean, like, what does it look like for them to truly move into the future, and they will either steward and lead the America First movement or they won't. And I have no use for them without Charlie if they are not truly doing that.
Sure.
If they become some second-rate, you know, talking heads on the conservative MAGA-esque movement, then whatever, enjoy that. Watch it die. If they truly lead and steward this movement, great, I'm all for it. But that's what I'm looking forward to, is like seeing what, and I'm not criticizing them because this just happened not that long ago.
Well,
it's going to take some time.
Charlie was an entity of himself.
100%.
And he was a leader of this movement. But TPUSA was focused on waking up 18 to 25-year-olds to conservative ideas in general.
And you know what? The torch has been, like, the fire has lit. Charlie spent years, you know, coaxing that flame. Do you know what I mean? And I give all the credit to him in that realm. Like, but in his death, the fire just exploded.
Yes.
And TPUSA, they can steward it or they can be completely uninvolved. It's going. The fire is burning.
Of
It's
course,
nothing's going
I
to
just
stop
don't
it.
see an organization being a leader of a movement. An organization facilitates
Well, and that's where
certain things.
I mean, that's where like the question is, does TPUSA matter without Charlie? Are they capable of being relevant without Charlie?
I 100% think that that they are, and that's
Sure,
important.
but they will have to do that. They will have to prove that. They will have to
Sure.
live it out.
But they have a completely different mission. It is not lead the America First movement. That was what Charlie himself was a part of doing. But the movement
And can you
is-
separate those things or not? It will be. I'm asking the question. And it's kind of rhetorical. It's like for them to determine in the future as they go forward without Charlie, can they still effectively steward those things and be relevant, or was Charlie that important to those different silos of TPUSA faith, the campus movement, these different things?
Absolutely.
I know. So again, I'm rooting for them to continue to be the truth tellers,
and I hope that people are rooting for them. And also remember, as we are Christians, and this is where you and I sometimes find ourselves at odds, where my Christianity directs my person and behavior, okay? And the Bible says we're not to gossip, we're not to bear false witness, we're not to slander, and these are exactly the things that are happening. These are exactly the things that are happening.
Well, I agree, and that's why that's why I don't want to give Candace the time until she... So I'm not like upset that we're talking about it in the sense of like it's important to address and encourage people to demand the truth from her.
If you guys message me and you have questions for Tom and I about what is happening in culture, we will address it, and Tom will have a good attitude about it. Okay.
Well, what I'm saying
so
is
I've gotten a lot of that.
Because of the gossip and slander that I feel Candace is, I'm like, show me the receipts, Candace. I'll listen, but I'm not like... I'm waiting on the actual stuff. I'm waiting on the witnesses to the thing. I'm waiting on...
Well,
I say that in the biblical sense.
A lot of people say the whistleblowers are the witnesses.
What whistleblowers? Like, really? Like
the one you sent me today.
No, it's just so you know, I sent that to you because I'm like, this is like in our realm of stuff we're talking about.
Yes.
But like, we don't even have the ability to prove she worked there.
Okay.
Like, she said she worked there.
That's what I'm saying is... I am like, none of this proves much to me, but
right,
then
I agree.
A lot of people, well,
I wasn't sending that to you as proof.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Most people are like, these videos of people who say they talked to Charlie and he said blah, blah, blah. This is proof. These are witnesses. And I'm like, okay. I mean,
be better than that.
I mean, I guess. Or the screenshots or whatever of things that I'm like, again, we have been harping. In the AI world, these things are very easy to produce. And I'm not saying Candace produced them. I'm saying whoever gave them to her could have easily produced it. Like, it could have been easily produced. She's gotten completely off the flight path thing. She hasn't talked about that in a minute.
This is why it's so Q-ish to me. It's like we just forget about this breaking news that was going to crack the case open, Egyptian planes and blah blah blah, and then it's like that's completely irrelevant. We're on to France and Macron and the Foreign Legion, and it's like it's just
that she was like, anytime, any place, I will be there. And then like not even 24 hours later, she's like,
I have something more important than what the entire world is.
You could either move the date or I might stream in. I'm like, wow, okay.
No, and frankly,
I guess she did that with Ben Shapiro after she was fired from the Daily Wire, and she said she challenged Ben Shapiro on Twitter or whatever to debate the Jews-Palestine issue, and he was like, absolutely, let's go, and then she like wouldn't do it.
That's and Ben Shapiro...
I know we don't like Ben Shapiro.
I
know we don't like Ben Shapiro. I'm just saying this is not the first time she's like publicly called for... come talk to me anytime you want, and then doesn't do it. And
also, my fun theory is, what if they killed Candace like 2 months ago?
Has said that.
And this is all AI, and it is like Q-ish stuff, and they're literally...
It's the new Q.
So
it's the new 4chan or 5chan or whatever that is.
But my question, this is just something I dreamed up driving along, but I was like, Candace sounds so crazy right now, but what if this isn't her? What if she's dead? And so it made me go, I was like...
Has anyone seen her?
Well, no, I was like, when was the last time? Because she's, this makes sense. She's like scared for her life right now. Mm-hmm. So she's probably being relatively reclusive. I wouldn't blame her for that. But like, when was the last time she made a public appearance? Is this actually Candace? Is Candace alive? Do we have proof of life and her family? Like, to some degree.
The opposite, because a lot of people are like, Charlie's alive. This is all a show. And you're like, is Candace alive?
No, but like, what if this is, I'm just for fun, just here. I'm not saying I believe this.
We can put forth things too.
Well, it's no different than anyone else, what anyone else is saying.
I'm making a joke.
But basically, what if Candace was killed 2 months ago or whatever, and they've kept it completely, you're never going to find out or whatever, and this is all AI, And at the end of this,
They
she's
did it
going
to Joe Biden.
No, she's going to end up committing suicide or something, which will be
Oh.
super, super sketchy. And everyone will think that they did kill her. Oh my gosh. But really,
She was dead all along.
she was dead all along. And they used this to just kill 7 months of our life.
I gotta say,
following a rabbit trail that was never going to go anywhere.
I just really long for heaven in these moments. Like, just ready for. I don't want to.
Candace, prove to us you're alive. Bring the receipts, and prove to us you're not controlled opposition. Those 3 things.
Let's go.
Would cover
Clear
at
it
least
up.
my concerns at the moment.
Like, stop sounding like such a bee sting.
Well, maybe if it's AI, she can't help it. She might be dead.
So, gosh, I
might
really have a hard
She
time.
might be dead in the basement of a TPUSA donor. Okay?
There you go. Okay, to wrap up that issue, those are our thoughts on that.
You know what? I figured out how to
One way
get
or
out of
another,
this subject is I just
we're
start
gonna
going off the
hear-
rails like Candace, and you're like, you know what? Let's just move on.
One way or another, we're going to hear on December 15th from TPUSA, and we will talk about it after, whether Tom likes it or not. Okay, carry on. We want to talk also about the Somalia fraud in Minnesota. Such an unlikely
it's really
spot.
the Minnesota fraud.
Okay, I know. Under our very favorite, almost never nominated officially vice president, Mr. Walz.
Let me see here.
Tom's going to put forth the news on this.
Well, it's not. I thought I had it found, but I mean, I don't know if y'all have heard, but basically, come to find out, all these whistleblowers at the
Prove it.
state of Minnesota.
This is legitimate criminal stuff. This is like not just some YouTuber is out there claiming these things. This is legitimately determined as fraud, correct?
Well, I mean, the investigations are full blown going. All these whistleblowers have apparently been whistleblowing to the state of Minnesota, but of course, it's controlled by Democrats who
The deep
were
state.
getting their wheels greased from some of this stuff. But apparently, the Somali community, you have to understand. Again, these are immigrants that don't assimilate.
Immigrants that were given protective status, like they could come here and they won't be deported, like specifically from Somalia.
Whatever, I don't know
That
about.
just ended,
Let me see.
or is ending. But what is the whole story?
So basically, during COVID, they ran all these fraudulent scams. They also post-COVID,
These Somalian communities.
right? Basically,
ran what kind of scams?
everything from like getting COVID money to serve meals or have medical treatment or all these different things. They're doing it up until basically now
I heard
too.
they're even like getting fake autism diagnoses.
Yeah, exactly. All this,
Okay.
anything to get this money,
A
disability money,
number of ways
Social Security money, like
they are
all sorts of
defrauding
stuff.
the taxpayer. That's who they're
Right.
defrauding. They're getting government money fraudulently.
And then this money, they're sending it back overseas in a lot of cases. And come to find out, I was reading in a Zero Hedge article that the Somali community and the nonprofits they use to funnel this money are the number one funder to Al-Shabaab, which
is a bad name.
which is the terrorist organization that's been, they're the ones that like kidnapped all those girls. I think they're one of those, but they're like running all over Somalia,
Nobody knows what you mean.
killing
when you
villages,
say-
like slaughtering people, Christians, non-Muslims.
Somalia.
Yes, they're not just a
they're
terrorist
funding
organization. Like we think a terrorist organization, I often think like, oh, they're trying to bomb America or something like that. No, they're
terrorizing
a tribal terrorist organization that is just terrorizing Somalia, and one of the many in Africa that are just wrecking shop over there. And it's just wild that like,
So they're taking refugee status here, building communities, defrauding the government, then taking the money they've taken, stolen from taxpayers, and funding terrorist organizations back home in Somalia. This is all being investigated and revealed.
right.
Okay. So that happened. What do you think about that? You wanted to talk about that.
Well, I just think it's wild that it's one of those things where like
We're still against ICE agents, and we need to be sure that immigration is allowed in all.
you have to tell people when you're being sarcastic.
I'm being
okay?
very sarcastic.
You're
now.
just that doesn't make sense. Okay. It's one of those things where
If you do it right, you shouldn't have to tell people you're being sarcastic.
well, that's why I told you had to tell people.
I didn't do it right this
You
time.
didn't do it
Okay,
right.
go ahead.
It's the reason why this is so important and interesting to me because it's one of these examples where in regards to immigration, Democrats and Republicans, we don't just disagree. Like, what is it? Could I summarize it that like bleeding heart liberals believe we need to help people and let them in and, blah, blah, blah. And like, this is an example where what's coming out is that Democratic politicians got donations from these people and these
To look the other way.
And these communities, this community and the organizations within it that were funding terrorist organizations this is not, again, it's just another nail in the coffin of like, this is not just Americans, give me, you're tired, you're poor, you're weak. This is not us doing the world a favor. It's actually like an organized crime syndicate involving the Democratic Party, literally a vice presidential candidate, a congresswoman, Ilhan Omar, and she got 80,000 votes, like basically without us letting all these asylum-seeking terrorists in,
She wouldn't be there.
she wouldn't be a congressperson. So we're literally like this, when you talk about
fraudulently married her brother.
when Trump or MAGA people and Republican leaders talk about how they're literally trying to import voters, this is
import voters.
proof. This is the proof pudding of that actually bearing out to be true.
To be real.
And that if they had their way, they would do that 25, 50 more times, however they could, in whatever way they could, wherever they could, in whatever American city they could, with whatever ethnicity they
whatever
could.
country they could.
They were planning on continuing to perpetuate what we have just discovered in Minnesota.
It is important that there's propagandized, weaponized empathy in to use your point, bleeding heart liberals. Like that they feel that way because they've been propagandized with empathy, toxic empathy, to like literally report ICE agents from doing their job, to literally feel like we must protect every single immigrant that has ever come here for any reason, especially illegal criminals. Like it requires a certain amount of having been propagandized as the American public for this to even have happened. Is that fair to say?
The whole thing.
Like the low-level Democratic voter is running cover, knowingly or unknowingly, for these things to happen. So it makes sense that there would be propaganda for that voter to feel this certain way about immigration. Do you see how it's a cycle? It's a circle. And it's broken. And it's crazy.
Yeah, it's just, I don't think we have to spend a ton of time on it, but this is like, this issue will continue to unfold. We may talk about it again, but just already what's coming out is just absolutely damning. When you hear things like, should Ilhan Omar be deported? And it's like, well, if she's allowed to be here, then we can't just be deporting random people. Finding out what we're finding out now, it's like,
get her out of here.
And maybe the entire Somali community there, maybe that wasn't such a good idea. Like, I know it wasn't such a good. I'm being hyperbolic right now. I'm being sarcastic.
Oh,
just
so you
being
didn't
clear.
do it right.
Yeah, I didn't do it right. Mm-hmm. I want to be so clear right now that I'm going to say it wasn't a good idea, and let's just say this: every single one of those people needs to be examined, investigated. and anyone with any ties to any of the, and
Fraudulent
it sounds like
terrorist
it was,
groups.
this is the important thing to note. It does not sound like it was certain people in a big crowd. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it was just a few bad apples.
It was a team effort.
It was a massive team effort, and the fraud was done in childcare, in welfare,
All over.
in medical, in COVID funding,
Like organized.
in disability. Oh, it was organized.
They
and
were like, do it this way.
the
Tell everybody.
entire community was working
autistic
together
kid.
to defraud the U.S. taxpayer.
Yeah.
And so anyone that
consequence
played a
of
role
that-
in that can go back to Somalia and hang out with Al
To be
Shabaab.
clear, the consequence of a not naturalized citizen, I mean, these are not citizens either. These are people under protective status. Mostly, the majority are people under
That's the other
protected
thing.
status.
If that's the case, then they're out.
Of course,
Don't
that's what
even
I'm
care
saying.
if they're affiliated with it or
consequence of
not.
that is you're deported, okay? If you are a citizen and you are caught defrauding the government, there are criminal charges and you are put in prison and blah, blah, blah. Our prisons and our prison system is not for people who can just be deported. Does that make sense? Like we can't afford, again, it's again further defrauding the taxpayer if we then take this criminal who's not even supposed to, or is here by privilege, let's say they're here in this country by privilege, even if they came in some legal fashion, it is their privilege to be here. We do not then need to spend taxpayer dollars imprisoning them either. The only solution is gotta go.
100%.
Gotta get. Okay, a different story I want to touch on is the pipe bomb situation surrounding January 6th. Let's not forget that was 5 years ago. 5 years ago in a couple of weeks that this all happened. And we are just now finding out who the pipe bomb person is. If that is not everything you need to know about the FBI and the DOJ and the whole freaking corrupt system, and I'm not even giving them very much credit for having it done now. There was just so much pressure that it finally has come out. And to your point, you mentioned earlier when we were talking about it that there was another person implicated.
Well, that's what
So there has been a gentleman that has been implicated as of the last day or so, allegedly having planted both the pipe bombs at the DNC and the RNC on January 5th, right before the very crazy insurrection that took place, being sarcastic.
And yeah, so the initial, they cannot figure it out for 5 years.
One could argue, and I will argue it, it is the most significant threat to life was these pipe bombs. That is the most significant
egregious thing that was
threat to life
that the J6ers were blamed for.
Sure,
right?
is pipe bombs.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, we found every grandmother that stepped foot in the freaking rotunda, but we didn't find the people who put bombs there. That seems wild. And then everybody is surprised to find out that this guy, should he be convicted of this crime, is a leftist anarchist, everything you'd expect.
It's mind-blowing to me though that first the lid is blown off of this case by a reporter. I forget who did it, but they did some analysis and pinned it on a female Capitol Police officer who's now working as a guard at the CIA, kind of got a promotion possibly after that. Keep her mouth shut. Weird, interesting. Oh, that's so crazy. And they obviously, that's like,
they analyzed her gait.
and it's like a massive implication of an inside job, right?
Of course.
And here's the important thing to understand. The system will always, the most important thing for the system to protect is the system itself.
Sure.
They will throw anyone under the bus, no matter how important they appear to be to the system. They're disposable as long as the system is saved.
So let me fill out, because you're kind of pretending like you've had this conversation with everybody before. What you're saying is weeks or months ago, there was...
Are you talking about the first one?
Yes.
2 weeks ago.
Okay, 2 weeks ago.
Like barely.
There was a woman implicated in this situation 5 years later.
Right.
That she's likely the person. She was a Capitol police officer and now is some job at the CIA.
Right.
Turns out it wasn't her now. 5 years later, two weeks later.
2 weeks after we find out who it is.
It's
now,
like, nope, never mind. It wasn't her. It was this guy.
If it was her, that's very implicative.
Of an inside job.
It's very indicative of an inside job.
Which we already are learning that every single thing about January 6th was inside jobby.
And it would, remember, we have 5 of these Capitol police officers that committed suicide. You know, it would start to look
We had a whole lot of them that let everybody in. A whole lot of Capitol police.
And obviously the whole suicide thing is a bunch of these guys knew that it was an inside job, were in some way informed of or played a role, and they had to be cleaned up. So
you're saying they didn't commit suicide?
That's the theory.
Got
that's what
unalived.
a lot of people think, is they got unalived because they knew too much.
Sure.
And then you have another, if the Capitol police officer is the one who planted the pipe bombs, it's only going to bring more attention back to these guys who got unalived. You know what I'm saying?
Can't be doing that.
And again,
I'm sorry, we figured it out. It's this guy.
The system will protect itself at all costs. And all of a sudden, we're finding
It's not a girl at all. It's a guy.
a black leftist 30-year-old guy from Virginia.
Give
Turns
the people
out,
what they want.
and it's one of those things where it makes perfect sense to me. They're not gonna come out and be like, no, it was a MAGA guy after all. No, they would have found that guy 100%, the same way they found all the grandmas.
Right.
But no, it is someone who had a grudge against Trump and, was all, a radical anarchist, blah, blah, blah.
He hated everybody, though.
But
he
it
hated both
wasn't-
Democrats and Republicans.
It was not a Capitol police officer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what's interesting is there's no mention of
she's gone.
Yeah, of what we were talking about for 2 weeks. It's whoop, nope, now it's a black guy from Virginia. What? So you figured this out based on all this analytical software that they use in surveillance states to identify you. They can identify you by your gait, the way you walk.
Yeah.
They can identify all sorts of crazy stuff.
They can follow. I mean, this is DC we're talking about. This is
Yeah,
not
one of the most surveilled cities in the world,
the
basically.
most surveilled city in the world. You can't follow this person in a sweatshirt into
Back
a
to their
store
car
or wherever where they
read.
didn't have their
Every
sweatshirt
license plate is red
Yeah.
in DC. And the closer you get to the Capitol and sensitive areas, the Pentagon, etc., the more likely your license plate has been read 4 times, not once. You know what I mean?
They knew.
So
And when I say they, I mean the FBI and the DOJ knew who this person was from the beginning. They always knew. This whole, we can't figure it out. I mean, it's so bad, you guys. It is so much.
the corruption
is so much worse than we think.
And it's not corruption, it's treason.
Evil.
It's evil. But either way, that's something that will be an interesting story to follow. I mean, whatever, we'll see what happens from here.
Can I end with a question to you?
Sure.
Circling back to the Charlie Kirk thing.
We
don't have to talk about Candace.
Oh, bring it on. Here we go.
I just want to ask. I haven't asked you this in a while. Do you think this Tyler Robinson character was involved at all?
I don't know. But back to our AI discussion, you can alter a video to put anybody in. I'm telling you, you could have.
Do you think there is a Tyler Robinson?
Probably. I don't. Again, this is where those things come in of 9/11, where some people believe the planes were holograms. It's no. Planes hit buildings. That's not the hard thing to believe here. You know what I mean? And no, unfortunately, everything we quote unquote know about patsies is kind of all theory. A lot of patsies end up dead. If Lee Harvey Oswald was in fact a patsy.
What's a patsy?
A patsy is someone that gets
Takes the fall.
framed, takes the fall for
fall guy.
a hit or something.
Okay.
And in this case, this Brian Cole, who allegedly is the new J6 pipe bomber, he might be the patsy for the Capitol police officer who did it. It might be.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, well,
So what do you make of the fact that he has been turned in by his parents?
well, that's the thing is again, when they, and especially in this day and age, remember, they can put child porn on your computer and you wouldn't know it's there until they go, oh, look what we found deep inside of this folder that was planted here.
So why are you saying that? Are you saying they may think he did it, even if he didn't?
A patsy in this day and age comes with an entire
Package.
digital package, right? Where,
Why did he say he did it?
well, that's the part we don't know. And that also comes into the like MK Ultra stuff too, whether or not that's real, whether or not he was a part of it. I don't know. Now, I think there's varying degrees of possibilities here.
Let's see.
Like there's
Could it be the donors?
for those of you who remember the Buffalo, New York mass shooting at the grocery store there.
Yeah.
That gentleman,
Was that 2020 or something?
it was a couple years ago. That gentleman also had, like, a lot of these shooters have these weird, like, they just all happen to be like 4chan dwellers. Now, that's not indicative of being
What's
MK Ultra.
4chan?
It's like a Reddit or a Instagram in some ways. It's a chat room and it's anonymous,
And it's where Q drops its QEs.
that's what it's also famous for. It's like, it's anonymous. So you can go in there and you can say all sorts of stuff. And if you're using a VPN and all this, it's private and no one can track it. And so that's where a lot of, like, unfortunately, this world is crazy. Like there's like pro school shooter forums where people will talk about, you know, their favorite school shooter.
Wow.
Like it's sick. Human beings are sick and they create places to be sick together sometimes. And I'm just saying, you know, not much different than any other blasphemous, horrible thing that humans gather to do. But this Buffalo, New York shooter had a large amount of interaction with someone who turned out to be a federal agent. And
On 4chan?
on 4chan. And then it all kind of like disappeared. You never hear any more about it. And that has come up multiple times. So whether or not people can be convinced into things and they're not under mind control, but they just find and exploit vulnerable people. You have your Thomas Crooks, same thing. Thomas Crooks. He was in 4chan and he's there. He's interacting
Thomas
with
Crooks being
the Trump shooter in Butler.
Okay.
Who was killed, you know, so we don't get to ask him anything. The also had interactions with what appears to be government agents of some kind. And it's just weird when these keep reoccurring. And then again, this is going into that whole, like, yes, I'm hypothesizing, but I look at how things have been done in the past and I look at patterns and go, well, this matches up. It's important to know, this is a little known fact. We could do a whole episode on it, but like the global war on terror, the terrorism scare post 9/11, the Homeland Security is created, the FBI's revamped, massive budget. Everyone got money for you. CIA had so much money they didn't even know what to do with it. Everybody got tons of money. We're now spying on our citizens. The Patriot Act, the NDAA, you know, blah 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 blah. Just like tons of stuff, right? Well, there was a string over those, you know, next 5-6 years of thwarted terrorist attacks.
Yeah.
There was one in Texas that was going to be like a mass shooting with bombs at a like Veterans Day parade or something. And they literally killed the guy in the parking lot while he was like getting the bomb out. Well,
They told him to get the bomb.
they gave him the bombs. They gave him the bombs. Now, they'll tell you, well, we're just making sure he was going to do it. Well, they conveniently, I believe, shot him. And so the gun they gave him was real, but the bombs were real, but they gave them to him and they were going to arrest him in time, don't worry. But they talked him into doing it.
Yeah.
And then the shoe bomber, the famous shoe bomber, same thing. They talked that guy into do it. They provided him with everything.
And then none of us got to wear shoes on a plane for 20
Or
years.
shoes on a plane. But there's like, I don't know that there's been a thwarted terrorist attack.
Even the Governor Whitmer, just that one is
The
recent.
Governor Whitmer one during COVID, yes, the Michigan governor that was allegedly going to be kidnapped. And yes, those guys were like guilty of it, but it was like the 3 guys were guilty of it, and there was like 9 federal agents.
I thought it was like a lot.
Whatever. And it's
wild.
So it's one of those things where when you look at, like, they have a history of doing this, and I'm talking, this is public record. Like, it's not like, it's public record it was a sting operation. So they basically find someone who's willing to do something. They get them all the way on the plane, or they all the way to the parade with the bombs in their trunk,
and then save the day.
And then they save the day, and
to self-validate.
So when I cannot help but wonder, if you're that good at getting people to do stuff, this is what that tells me. You can find people who are exploitable, dumb enough and willing enough to do it. Do heinous things where you go, you can't get someone to shoot up a mall. You can't get someone to, No, they do. They get people to do it. So they're somehow able to find the characters that are willing to do it, gullible enough to go along with it. And then they bring them all the way to the finish line and stop. Well, okay, what if they decided, we're going to bring them all the way to the finish line and not stop them? Is that possible? So it doesn't even necessarily need to be MK Ultra mind control stuff. It could also just be that these people there are dumb people out there, and they're willing, and dumb, bad people that are willing to do it.
I think there's a solid 50-50 shot that he actually was just talked into doing it.
Tyler Robinson.
Yes.
Yes, but here's the thing. I believe in those cases, they make sure. Now, the Trump thing is an exception.
They make sure.
Like, they need a patsy, but they don't necessarily need the patsy to be a good shot. They'll make sure.
They make sure that the shot is made.
Right.
And he's going to fall for it, which is maybe what happened with JFK, is like...
Lee Harvey Oswald, well, there's a lot of evidence of multiple shooters there. So he could have had a loaded gun. He could have fired a round, but they're like, you know what? Fire that round. We're going to make sure we hit him.
Yeah.
And again, that was like, I mean, you're killing an American president. You don't leave that one like anything but buttoned up. And that's where Trump's Butler, Pennsylvania is an exception. Now, I don't have an explanation for that.
Miracle.
Maybe they were, maybe, it could, the miracle is what I say, but maybe they were like, let's roll the dice on this one. I don't know.
Shoot his ear. See what we could get out of that.
Well, and again, if it truly is in the miracle category and like the God's will be done and you're not going to, then, who knows?
Everything is under God's sovereignty.
Maybe that guy on the water tower that we saw in the Butler, Pennsylvania video that also disappeared, maybe that guy missed. Maybe that's the guy that hit him in the ear, and that Thomas Crooks isn't even the guy that hit him in the ear. You never know. I don't know.
But everything is under God's sovereignty. Everything.
I agree.
So the enemy cannot do something outside of God's sovereignty. That's important to remember. Just putting that out there at the end here. Yeah, I'd say 50-50 shot. Tyler's the guy that did it. I think it is weird when I say the guy that did it, the guy that shot him. I think there's almost no shot. No, I'm sorry. I will use different language. There's almost no chance he just decided to shoot Charlie one day by himself. Just did it. I feel like there's almost no chance of that.
No, I think, nothing will...
50-50 shot. He was talked into it. And it's not him at all. There was somebody else.
Also, I will say this, after, we've kind of also given him too much credit on that's not a hard shot to make, because the more I have looked at it, I'm like, it isn't. There are plenty of people who make that shot every day.
He didn't make the right shot. Nobody shoots at the freaking carotid artery. He was aiming somewhere else.
Or it ricocheted off of.
Or it ricocheted off his chest.
Something, yes. But that, when you say the whole God's sovereignty thing, though, too, it is a terrible thing to say, and I hate even saying it. But, like, everything about the way that happened, like, you know what? If I'm ever martyred, I want it to be in such a way that is actually grabs people's attention. They could have killed him in his sleep with a heart attack gun or something. You know what I mean? Like, and nobody would have known any better. You know what I mean? At least we were all so appalled, we were all so shook that we couldn't go on with our lives.
That is the enemy overplaying his hand.
Right.
And God going, all right.
So
I'm gonna use this.
I'm glad that Charlie Kirk's death
Yeah.
didn't go unnoticed.
I absolutely feel that's true.
And it had to be
terrible.
Unfortunately that horrible
Traumatic,
to make sure that it wasn't.
It really did.
And for that I am thankful in a weird way.
It's very true. And I think in some world,
if I could take it back, I 100% would. A million
still
times
so
over.
Wild. I just think all the time, like even today when I was like, what would Charlie say about this pipe bomb thing and that other woman, and what would he say about that? It's just going to be a long life.
And honestly, I think
him.
that's also why they had to take him out, because I shared it on my Instagram tonight. The speech he gave, I believe it was at the convention where Bobby Kennedy was Jr. or RFK Jr. was announced as endorsing Trump.
That was a TPUSA event.
That's right. It was a TPUSA event. And his speech in that was, I mean, he says it's the people against an oligarchy. You know what I mean? Like that seems so long ago now. Yeah. And it was a year ago.
He said
whatever.
It all the time.
It was just, it rang in a different tune knowing what he had walked through since that point, if that makes sense.
Right.
And going, oh man, like they were so afraid of him. And I think just like, not that I think it was like because of the J6, but like so much is coming down the pipe that they were like, this guy, if this guy goes fully awake, he will not back down. And he had already proven that on the Epstein stuff. You know what I mean? He was not with the establishment, let's see if we can let this slide. And the Epstein stuff is huge, but that's just one thing. And there was so much more coming, and there is more to come. Yeah. That, I mean, Charlie could have had people with pitchforks if he wanted to, and they were afraid of that.
Which we do need to do an episode about RFK Jr. because I thought that this morning, just what he's been doing recently is really such a delivery. Like,
I agree with that.
Such a delivery on what we voted for and asked for, and the brilliance of, and Charlie orchestrating this, him coming to Trump, and and that coalition being built, like such a brilliant, historically brilliant and unique political moment.
That was another one that I think Charlie Kirk can actually get like some legitimate 100%. Credit on. Like, I don't want to say he was 100% responsible for. Like, I'm willing to give him
get credit for that for sure.
Majority responsible for that, and I agree with you. Brilliant political,
just what a good move. And how, like, that was another big thing that Trump campaigned on that has been delivered on.
Yes, I agree with that.
I just think, man, Bobby Kennedy would have not even been able to do what he's doing if he would have become president. Like, this was the path he needed to be on for specifically what he's going to do. And man, he has done.
And even though he was a Democrat, no Democrat candidate would have allowed Bobby Kennedy to do what he's doing now. You know what I mean? Like,
this was the only shot he was going to get to where he was going to get.
Only Trump was ever going to write the blank check for him on this.
It's possible that at the end of Trump's presidency, because do recall we're not even 1 year into it,
right,
the most significant, lasting change will be what Bobby did. Like, that will affect children, generations to come, for sure. Because remember, and I do want to talk about this too in another episode, this is I need to look up the statistics. This is the least active Congress we've ever had. And it's stunning.
The Republican Party, man.
It is stunning to see how little they're going to actually accomplish before these midterms, hoping they lose the House, hoping they lose the Senate.
I believe the Republicans are hoping they lose the House.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh,
They're
100%.
hoping they are. They are dragging their feet
Yep.
so that they don't have to actually do anything Trump wants, because everything Trump has done can be reversed by the next president.
Right.
So far, right now, nothing will outlast him.
And it's important to note, who are the donors behind both parties? Why are they a
Speaking of
do-nothing
pitchforks.
Congress? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's not, they're sellouts. Now, they
Roa
were
said-
sellouts before this, but their sellout is showing.
Their sellout is showing. That is it. That's the title of the next episode we're going to do. Their sellout is showing. But for tonight, that's all. All those random bits of information are all we have for you tonight. Have a good one. Subscribe. Thank you. Thanks for joining us on the Modern Watchman podcast.
Remember, truth isn't just something we believe, it's something we live out every day.
Stay alert, stay discerning, and don't lose sight of the hope we have in Christ.
Until next time,
Be watchmen.